Crafties, welcome to another video. My name is Infiniti and today I'm going to show you guys how to do the Tunisian rib stitch. I got a comment and it was brought to my attention that you couldn't really see how the stitch was being worked, so I wanted to kind of fix that today and just, rework the stitch. So ribbing is a really simple technique used across various crafts, and it creates this really nice kind of vintage looking texture on a surface, and it's very beginner friendly. So without further ado, I'm going to jump right into this tutorial. Right, to begin, what you're going to want to do is chain, and you can chain in any increment you'd like. For ribbing, you just want to make sure that it's kind of even, or maybe it's not even, because you can chain in odd increments as well. So I'm going to chain 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 12. Alright, so now that I have my 12 chains, what I want to do is cast on. So I'm going to insert my hook into that next stitch, yarn over and pull up a loop, insert my hook into the next stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, all the way across. Alright, once you've cast on all of your stitches, what you want to do is do your first returning pass. So that is yarning over. You want to chain 1. You're going to want to yarn over and pull through 2. Yarn over, pull through 2 till the end. Alright, now that we have done our returning pass, what we want to do is get into the pattern. So you want to determine in what increment you want to do your ribbing. I'm going to do a simple 2x2 rib pattern today. And so as usual, we will skip this first vertical bar and we will work into the second bar. And I'm going to work those first 2 stitches. I'm going to work that first stitch in a knit stitch. So to work the Tunisian knit stitch, you want to insert your hook under that vertical bar, but instead of just working directly under it like this, you're going to make sure the hook comes out the back. So we're going to yarn over and pull up a loop. And what this will do is turn the stitch so that you get that stockinette type look. The stitch does look knitted when it's worked up, so just keep that in mind. So now what we want to do is purl. So I'm going to bring my yarn forward. I'm going to insert my hook under that next vertical bar as normal. And I'm going to kind of use my nail to hold that strand of yarn to keep it forward. And that helps to keep it in place while you're trying to purl. And I'm just going to yarn over and pull through that stitch. And you can kind of wiggle it and adjust it after you work the stitch, and it gives you this little purl head, as we call them. Alright, and I'm going to do that again in the next stitch, so making sure my yarn is to the front. And I'm going to insert my hook under that next vertical bar. I'm going to hold my little strand down so that it doesn't move on me. And there I go. Alright, now I'm going to go back to knitting too. Alright, so that's again inserting my hook under that next vertical bar like that. But instead of working straight through, I'm going to go back, and you can see that I'm also between that back stitch. So between the front vertical bar and the back vertical bar of that stitch, that's what you want to work coming out the back. And you're going to yarn over and you are going to pull up a loop. And again. Alright, and then I'm going to move on and I am going to do a purl stitch, 2 purl stitches. back to knitting. And I'm going to purl 2. And I'm going to work under this last stitch with a purl stitch as well. Now if you're doing a project, you can do the math on it and make sure that you end up on the same stitches that you started with. So if you started a row with knit stitches, you can make sure that you end on knit stitches, and vice versa. If you start with purl stitches, you can make sure you end on purl stitches. But for today's tutorial, I don't quite mind the patterning. So now I'm going to do my returning pass. And this pattern is a 1-row repeat. So when we move on to the next row, we're just going to follow the same pattern of knitting 2, purling 2. Alright, now on to row 2. I'm gonna skip that first vertical bar and we're gonna work into the second one. Again, we're gonna follow our pattern from the previous row and knit that 1. And then we are going to bring our yarn forward and we are going to purl 2. Alright, and so like I said, this pattern is a 1-row repeat. So once you reach the end of that row, you're going to do your returning pass as normal and then go about doing your knit pattern, your ribbing pattern again. I have knitting on the brain today. And this is a stitch where the patterning shows up relatively early in the stitch, and also if you notice, it doesn't curl on you, which is wonderful. Less blocking in the end. Might want to block it a little bit, but it doesn't really curl on you. And so as you continue to work this stitch up, you will eventually end up with a swatch like this, or a project that has this pattern type in it, as well as this one. So I hope today's tutorial was helpful. If so, don't forget to leave me a thumbs up. Again, you can comment, let me know. Don't forget to check out my other social media. I'm on pretty much everything except for Snapchat. And until next time, guys, happy making.